Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're back with the Empire, going to be facing up against the Skaven today, so you know what that means. We're here with the Grand Theogonist, Volkmar the Grim, yes indeed, on his beautiful War Altar of Sigmar. So of course he's got the flaming damage, is a chariot, and the War Altar also gives him banishment, which is going to be great against the Skaven. We've also got the regeneration, of course, never leave home without it, and the Grand Hammer of Sigmar for some more melee attack. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the build here. Infantry Corps is fairly standard. We've got 4 Spearmen with shields up front, 3 Swordsmen behind. Center is the Sigmar Sons. We've got Royal Altdorf Griffites in the center to help counter large targets. 2 units of Reichsguard, 1 here, and the Zintler's Reichsguard hidden up in the forest over here, supporting 2 units of Pistoliers. And we've got 2 more units of Pistoliers over on the far side. So, you guys have been seeing me bring Pistoliers quite a bit lately, and the more I bring them, the more I start to think that these guys are actually a very, very strong tool right now for the Empire, and might even be meta, yes indeed, in certain matchups. I never thought I'd hear myself say those words. Pistoliers have for a long time been one of the worst units in the game, in my opinion. But they're certainly useful now, and in a lot of matchups I do think they can shine, the Skaven matchup being one of them. So let's go ahead and talk about why. First off, Skaven, across the board, apart from Storm Vermin and some other specialty units, they have relatively low armor, particularly Rat Ogres and other high-value targets like Plague Monks, which my opponent has brought both of. He's brought 3 Plague Monks here in the center and 2 Rat Ogres protecting the flanks, which is a very common strategy. They're all low armor and relatively high value, so the Pistoliers are going to be able to generate a ton of value against them. He's also got 2 Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield out on the flanks, a Storm Vermin Halberd protecting this Warp Lightning Cannon here, another Storm Vermin with Halberd. He's got a Plague Priest on the Plague Furnace, of course, and Lord Skrolk. So let's go ahead and take a look at the spell loadout here. Looks like he's got Bless with Filth, Wither, and Pestilent Birth on Skrolk, and on this guy he's got Pestilent Breath, Blessed with Filth, Wither, and Pestilent Birth. So, not really sure about the spell selection there. Because they are both sharing the same Winds of Magic pool, you probably just want to cut a lot of the similar spells, but, you know, not sure about that. But let's go ahead and kick things in full gear and kind of watch as things unfold here. So first things first, we're going to bring the Pistoliers into a kind of an encircling engagement, and this is one thing Pistoliers are great for. They are very fast at 90 speed. They have a high volume of fire, of course. As I've said before, they fire 2 shots per volley, meaning they have a much higher volume of fire than you know, a lot of different units. They don't do the most damage, but their damage did get buffed, and you can see they're kind of poking away at these Rat Ogres here, just kind of running around in this backline harassing. Because I have 4 units of Pistoliers here, and my opponent hasn't brought any skirmishers to help deal with them, they're going to be able to ride around with impunity and basically impose their will, go wherever they want to. As long as I micro them effectively, they'll never get caught. So it's worth, as a Skaven, to help counter Skirmish Cav. The only thing you really have is, of course, the Warp Lightning Cannon, which somehow one of these Warp Lightning Cannons actually got destroyed by the Pistoliers, but and Skirmishers, of course, but my opponent hasn't brought any Skirmishers whatsoever. Something like, what are they? Gutter Runners would be very good against Pistoliers. I'm going to get caught slightly here by these Rat Ogres, take a little bit of damage, but we'll quickly pull away and have this other unit nearby for support, so we should be able to get some nice work done. Pouring in fire to these Storm Vermin as well. They have 90 armor, which is pretty decent, but, you know, no missile block chance, so they will take some damage from this. We've also taken the artillery crew off of their cannon and broken one of the cannons, so looks like they may actually rout here pretty soon, but you can see the mainline engagement's going to get underway here in this pass here. Volkmar charging in initially, trying to get a nice fix here. I've also got a Celestial Wizard I failed to mention, just with the AoE damaging spells to help clear out lots of Skaven infantry. Sigmar Sons moving forward. You can see Volkmar's in a little bit of a precarious situation. I'm a little bit overzealous with him, and it's very bad if you do this with Volkmar and he gets taken down. But thankfully for me, I do have some Sigmar Sons in for support, and on a lot of other fronts we're doing very well. Reichsguard just crushing these clan rats here. Royal Altdorf Griffites also coming in on the flank, getting caught up a little bit here. They were meant to go on the Rat Ogres or the Plague Priest, but they did kind of get caught up on these Plague Monks. But Banishment going down, taking down a lot of my own troops, but also a lot of the Skaven as well, breaking both pockets there. You can see the Pistoliers coming in the main line here, just kind of bringing up the rear. They've managed to take this artillery crew off their piece and bring them all the way up here, doing a ton of damage to these Rat Ogres as well, so very nice. We're dropping a Chain Lightning now right in the middle of these Plague Monks after Wind Blasting them, so a lot of AoE damage done there. Some really nice work from the Celestial Wizard. And the Reiksguard on this flank getting some really nice cycle charges. They're going to be pulling back away now, and we're going to try and get an open field charge on this isolated Rat Ogre. Rat Ogres, of course, don't have the most armor, so if you get an isolated charge, they will do a lot of damage here. Volkmar is just continuing to get hunted by the Rat Ogres and this Plague Priest, which is honestly good for my opponent. He needs to take Volkmar off the field as soon as possible. I've only got the one banishment out, so if he can take him out before I get another banishment, that'll be very, very useful. But here come the Reiksguard. For support, we're going to be getting in a charge. Pistoliers, you can see lined up in the rear there. Let's go ahead and grab some of this slow-mo action as these Reiksguard charge in here, just lancing through a lot of these Rat Ogres. And they, because of the low armor of the Rat Ogres, again, they will take quite a bit of shock damage on the charge. But Rat Ogres will turn around and do some damage, certainly, to the Zintler's Reiksguard. Or no, these are just the regular Reiksguard. Anyway, in the main line engagement, a lot of my infantry is not doing great, but, you know, they're just really meant here to hold the line here while the Pistoliers pull up and start firing off shots. Of course, they'll do a lot of damage to these Plague Monks. You can see quite a few Plague Monks dropping there. And the Royal Altdorf-Gryphites and these Reiksguard are now going to be just collapsing in on this flank here, helping to deal with these these Plague Monks here in a brutal charge, also sweeping up this unit of Plague Monks. And the terror from the Royal Altdorf-Gryphites, that's the main reason why I bring them, is because both them and Volkmar cause terror. So we're able to terrify away quite a few units, and you can see the balance powers shifted pretty heavily in my favor at this point. So yeah, Pistoliers just continuing. Again, they're completely untouched, besides the one unit that I let get caught. They're completely untouched. A little bit of miss micro here, letting them get caught by the Storm Vermin as well, but it's not the end of the world. It's kind of a late game scenario anyway, and we do need to fix them in place for the Reiksguard to come in and get a rear charge. Of course, the Royal Altdorf-Gryphite's going to be giving that terror, so those Storm Vermin will be quickly terrified off the battlefield. And yeah, at this point, Volkmar is pretty low on health, but he's been able to regenerate quite a bit and has occupied this Plague Monk, or sorry, the Plague Priest, so he wasn't sitting on top of that mainline engagement for too long, kind of draining away all my troops with that Cauldron effect. So yeah, at this point, we're going to get all the cavalry pulled into support, and all the knights and stuff are going to come try and take down this Plague Priest here. Meanwhile, the infantry is going to go after the Plague Priest as well, and just dropping the magic on this remaining unit of Storm Vermin here. Also, just trying to get the Pistoliers in position to fire on Skrolk. Of course, he has relatively low armor, so if we go ahead and look here, Skrolk only has 30 armor, and he does have some missile resistance. Let's see here how much that actually is. 15%, so not bad, but he still is going to take a lot of damage from those Pistoliers. You can see the damage starting to pile up there, and with the Plague Priest terrified, that is going to kick army losses in relatively shortly here. Those Storm Vermin just got completely wrecked. And yeah, well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. And yeah, indeed, Pistoliers seem to be a little bit of a meta pick now against Skaven, and I would say a few other matchups as well. We'll kind of talk about that in just a minute here, but let's go ahead and take a look at the post breakdown. 201 kills on Volkmar with the 2 banishments. He got both of them off and was able to get some pretty nice charges as well, so really nice work done from him. 76 kills on the Celestial Wizard as well is great. 248 on Zintler's Reiksguard, very nice, and 12 and an XP Chevron on this Reiksguard. They mostly help deal with the Rat Ogre. These Pistoliers had some chevrons to begin with, but notably this one here and this one here both picked up a chevron throughout the course of the battle, so you know they got some high value work done there, helping to take down this Warp Lightning Cannon, and both my opponents using units of Rat Ogres just did not perform. Likewise, the Storm Vermin with halberds that were left to protect their just kind of you know, they were absent from the battle for most of the part when where the heavy cavalry actually was, because they were, you know, invested in protecting that Warp Lightning Cannon. It ended up keeping them away from the mainline engagement where they needed to be. The Plague Monks did fairly well. I mean, you would expect them to carve through Empire State troops pretty decently, which they definitely did. All my infantry did relatively poorly, but just the cavalry, Volkmar, and of course the meta Pistoliers carrying the day here. So let's go ahead and talk about Pistoliers a little bit more in depth here, and we'll kind of just mention a few things. So if we take a look at the Empire, so Pistoliers, they're useful in various matchups. Anyone who's going to be bringing low armor a lot of low armor. So Skaven is one, of course. They have relatively low armor. Beastmen is another one which you guys have seen me use them against. Beastmen have low armor across the board, of course, other than a few specialty units. So the Pistoliers will be very good there. You do have to be careful not to be caught by Centaurs, but, you know, with the support of heavy cavalry and magic and other stuff, you can still make it work, even if you do get caught. Let's see, what other matchups would I recommend them in? Greenskins can be decent, although Greenskins can bring a bit more armor to the table. I guess at the end of the day, you know, Biggins only have 50 armor, which is decent. It's not the best. Most of their infantry is low armor. Same with their cav, but, I mean, you do have, like, the Arachnaroks, for example, Black Orcs. I mean, again, a few specialty units, mostly low armor across the board, so they probably would be decent against the Greenskins. The main thing with the Greenskins is they have an awesome selection of mobility, so bringing mobile units against the Greenskins can be pretty risky, if at least the, you know, kind of low-ish tier skirmish cav have relatively poor combat stats. Pistoliers will trade very ineffectively with, say, Goblin Wolf Rider archers. Goblin Wolf Rider archers, if we compare them head-to-head, have more range. They have more unit models as well. They don't have as high a volume of fire, of course, because they don't fire multiple shots per volley. They do a lot less damage, but they are slightly faster and have comparable combat stats. So, you know, a little bit rough there. Other matchups I would consider Wood Elves potentially, although Wood Elves have a lot of infantry skirmishers and, you know, can potentially be risky there as well. Dwarfs, of course, not really. Vampire Counts is another one that I would recommend them in. All of the Vampire Counts monsters, for the most part, other than, I mean, even the Mortis Engine only has 40 armor, so you can get great value shooting at the Mortis Engine, at Vargeist, Crypt Horrors, you know, the Vargolf as well. The Terrorgeist is heavily armored, and of course they have heavy cav as well, but most of the vampire, you know, monsters are relatively low armor, so I do think Pistoliers can be a good pick here as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you used Pistoliers to good effect? What are your thoughts if you have? And yeah, let me know what you think. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.